Hi, my name is Joanne Mancuso, and this is Venus Mitchell. We both work for Eggleston, but we specifically work at a program called Beacon House, which provides services to adults who have become disabled as a result of a brain injury. Today we have with us Larry, Adam, David. All three of them sustained a brain injury as a result of a choice that they made. So today we're going to talk about choices, chance, and consequences. Before we get into their individual stories, which is going to tell you what life was like before their accident, what caused the accident, and what life is like since having the brain injury, we're going to talk a little bit about the brain. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the brain. And I just so happen to have a handy dandy brain here to show you. This is not a real brain, but it's a brain that I make, and it's the consistency of a brain. As you can see by my squeezing it, it's very delicate. Now imagine this sitting inside a skull, not very protected. And let's think about it. What does the brain do for you? Well, the brain is the central computer of your body. Every little piece of this controls something your body does. So there's a piece for your speech, a piece for your breathing, a piece for your walking, a piece for your memory, and especially our frontal lobe here is the piece of the brain that controls your executive functioning, your decision making, your impulse control. This is the part of the brain that when you're faced with a situation, you can quickly say, if I do this, this is what's going to happen. This part of the brain is almost always damaged in an accident. And as a result, the individuals that we work with make some awful decisions because they have no control of their impulses and they have no good executive functioning. So I do spend a lot of time in the court system trying to convince the judges not to put somebody in jail because they're not going to benefit from it, because they're not going to have anybody working with them or the opportunity to get better. Now, unlike other parts of our body, if we break an arm, we break a leg, we can put a cast on it, the bone will heal back to normal. If you tear an ACL, you can have surgery, back to normal. The brain doesn't do that. Once the brain is damaged, whatever part is damaged, it's permanently damaged. Therefore, the part it controls is impaired forever. So it's really important that we protect our brains. Now, I'm wondering about how many of you either have had a concussion or know somebody that's had a concussion. I'm going to guess it's at least 50% of you. And concussions are brain injuries. I'm going to make sure that your teachers have information on concussions to pass on to you. Those of you who are student athletes, you are followed very closely by the protocol that we have in Virginia. You have a pre-test and then a post-test. So if you get a concussion or you have an injury, they're going to compare your post-test to the pre-test. But if you're not a student athlete, you don't have that. If you're not a student athlete, you don't have a trainer watching you. But we can get concussions anywhere. We can have a concussion by falling off a bike without a helmet on. We can get a concussion by falling off a skateboard without a helmet on. We can get a concussion by just simply falling, banging our head. There's a lot of ways that we can have a concussion. I'm going to make sure that you have the information you need to understand what symptoms to look for so that you do report it to an adult, you do report it to a doctor, and you take the necessary precautions before you go back and resume whatever activity you're doing. Because if you don't, and you don't let the concussion heal, you will get hit again and have a secondary concussion, and you will end up with long-term difficulties. I have a son who played high school football for one of the beach schools, and at the time that he played, there was not the concussion protocol. And he sustained a couple of concussions, and we didn't realize it until he sustained the last one. And he ended up with some long-term difficulties when he got to college as a result of it. We had to have accommodations put in place. He's doing okay now that he's in his 30s. However, he still had a struggle, so I want to make sure that we avoid all of that. Now that we've learned a little bit about the brain, we're going to have the opportunity to listen to the three gentlemen tell their stories about what life was like before, what their choices were that led to the accident, and what life is like since. Our first speaker is David. David is going to tell his story, but he can be a little bit difficult to understand. I'm going to let him, I'm sorry, he is difficult to understand. I'm going to let him tell his story, and I will summarize as we go along to make sure that you don't miss anything, but I do like him to be able to tell his story in his own words. So David, what were you doing before your accident?
Working.
You were working?
Playing.
You were working and playing? Were you working and making good money?
Oh yeah.
How many jobs did you have?
3.
3? David was working 3 jobs. He was installing acoustical ceilings and computer floors. David liked to work part-time on the weekends at a gas station just so he could get free gas. And then David was also working part-time for his dad's construction company, and he was being groomed to eventually take over the business. And what he likes to say is that, go ahead, what would you like to say?
Today should be bloody millionaire.
I'm not sure if he'd be a bloody millionaire, but I could tell you that David would definitely be quite wealthy, because 34 years ago when he was working, he was making $1,000 a week. Now that's a lot of money for a 21-year-old, but 34 years ago that was a fortune, because our money went so much further. Now, given the timing right now, gas is not as expensive as it normally is. However, at that time, gas was about 89 cents a gallon. So you could see our money went a lot further. So you had a lot of money.
Yes.
And did you like to buy a lot of things with your money?
Yes. Really.
What kind of things?
Male toys.
Male toys. He likes to call them male toys. Okay, like what?
I put it out there. Motorcycle trailer.
First, he bought a motorcycle trailer, which forced him to buy
Pickup truck tractor.
a pickup truck so he could haul the motorcycle trailer. And then what did you buy?
2 motorcycles.
2 motorcycles. And it was on one of those motorcycles that David had had an accident just 2 weeks before this accident, which is why you can see in his pictures that he was in a cast. And what was your prized possession?
A Kendall Parade. 1966 Ford Mustang.
Okay, he was restoring a 66 Mustang. It was candy apple red. It was his prized possession. He loved that vehicle so much that even though the accident was 34 years ago, he only agreed to sell it, I don't know, within the last maybe 6 or 7 years. So he had a lot of stuff. He had a lot of money. Did you have a lot of friends?
I thought they'd more questions. Then
Then could probably fill a whole.
the auditorium.
Okay, and the reason that David says he thought they were his friends, truly up until the night of the accident, they were his friends. However, when you sustain a brain injury, and it doesn't matter whether it's your age, my age, his age, you're different. You're slower, in some cases, much slower. You takes a lot of patience and understanding to be with you, and your friends don't hang in there with you. So what happens is individuals with brain injury become very socially isolated. And they come to our program. It helps them a little bit with the social isolation. But our program is only open Monday through Friday. It's only open from 8:30 to 3:30. And so they go home in the evenings, they go home on the weekends, and they don't do anything. They have nobody to hang out with. But up until his accident, he had a lot of friends. And how about a girlfriend? Did you have a girlfriend?
Yes, I did. I thought they special girlfriend.
You thought she was very special. She was so special. What had she just told you?
Didn't told me that I was going to be a daddy.
David had just found out that he was going to be a daddy. Now, his accident was June 3rd of 1985. June 3rd of 1985. His daughter was born December 2nd of 1985. So you can see where he had probably just found out he was going to be a daddy. So here's this 21-year-old man. He had everything. Life was perfect. And then one night, all of that changed. What happened that night? You want me to say it? Take a deep breath.
And then I'll boy girlfriend's house. Cause they go to LA from my house.
Okay, so he's on his way from his home from his girlfriend's house, less than a quarter of a mile away from his house. And what
So
happened?
then it's stop sign. Both sides of the pickup truck.
Okay, somebody in a small car ran a stop sign, hit into the side of his pickup truck, maybe doing $50 to $100
Is that?
if it was even that much. What David should have done that evening,
I'm begging you to do.
and he's begging you to do, is stay in the vehicle, you call the police, and you wait for the police to come. That is all you are required to do by law. Did you do that?
No,
What did you do instead?
I flung my door open. I thought on my leg. Got down to the back of my truck because I was like, yes. Started screaming at the top of my lungs. Look at the truck. Damn fool.
Okay. I'm not sure that damn fool is exactly what he said that night. I think it was worse. So he flung the door of the truck open, hopped out on one leg. Again, he was in a cast, bounced to the back of his truck, started pounding on the truck, cussing, yelling, screaming. With that, a crowd started to gather around the accident scene. And within the crowd, a fight broke out. It had nothing to do with David. But David put himself in the middle of it by continuing to scream. Some man from the crowd grabbed one of David's crutches and whacked it as hard as he could across the face of the other guy,
Driver.
the driver who hit David. Hit him so hard that he broke the crutch in half. Crutches 35 years ago were made out of wood, but that's still pretty hard. Dropped the crutch on the ground, took off running. The man who got hit was really angry. Chased after that first guy. To this day, we don't know where that man went. So now the guy's got a bleeding lip. He's really angry, and he can't get the guy who hit him. So he comes back to the crowd screaming, "Someone throw me a gun. I'm going to kill me someone tonight." Fortunately, there were no guns on the streets like they are today, but they threw him a baseball bat, said, "Here, use this." So now you've got a really angry man. He's got a bat in his hand. And the whole time, what are you doing?
I'm running my little weapon.
He's cussing and yelling and still running his lethal weapon. So the guy went after David. David was smart. He grabbed a 4x4 out of the back of his pickup truck and was going like this, blocking the swinging bat. Doing okay?
quite good,
He
actually.
was doing quite well till he stepped off the curb. And because he was in a cast, he lost his balance, fell, and that guy took that bat and whacked David in the back of what David makes me say is his beautiful head. And the minute that bat hit David's beautiful head, life as he knew it was over. So now we're going to fast forward. And here we are. David is now how old?
56.
56. And where do you live, David?
Home.
I'm sorry. He's still funny. He thinks he's funny. David, who do you live with? Who do you live at home with?
My mom.
He lives with his mom. Up until about a year ago, it was his mom and dad. But sadly, his dad passed away. And his mom, how old is your mom now?
Older than me.
She's older. She's about 75, right? Okay, so what do you think we're concerned with? Who's going to take care of David? What are we going to do when his mom can't take care of him anymore? Now, David likes to say that Venus and I will take care of him. And although we will help, that's probably not the plan that we need to put in place. Both Venus and I have families. Both Venus and I are older than him. Probably not the plan that we need to work on. But we are working on a plan. But, you know, it's really sad because he has, how much money do you get a month from Social Security?
About to 920.
I don't know. It's about $920 now. Where do you think you could live for $920 a month? Not in a very good place. And so we have to work on finding a place for him that he could afford at $920 a month. And David requires a lot of one-on-one care, so we're going to have to figure that out as well. Now, I have a daughter who's the same age as his daughter. Normally, I call my daughter Bossy Pants, but she's informed me that I can no longer call her that. I need to call her assertive. So my assertive daughter, if this were me, would be coordinating all my care or providing me with my care. How about your daughter?
Afraid not,
Why not?
because
You haven't seen her.
I've only seen her one time this entire century.
He's only seen her one time this entire century. So David's little girl, like I said, was born in December of 1985. And David was there for the birth. He was with her for about 2 or 3 years. After that time, his girlfriend lost interest in David. And David understood that.
I did nothing to offer.
So he encouraged her to move on. When she stopped bringing the little girl around, David got visitation rights and continued to see her until one night when she was about 14 and a half. She came over to visit, and what did she tell you that night?
David on have to keep coming over here.
Danny, I don't want to have to keep coming over here. Now, he could have forced her because he had the visitation papers. But he thought, you know, she's a teenager. Let me give her a little space. I don't want to make her do something that she doesn't want to do, hoping she'd come back around. And unfortunately, she did not. So for her 19th birthday, which was December 2nd of 2004, he called her for her birthday. And the picture that you saw of him with his daughter was actually December 4th of 2004, where she promised to keep in touch. She promised that she would see her dad, especially for Christmas that year. Well, here we are in 2020, and he still hasn't seen her. And up until about 4 years ago, she lived maybe a quarter of a mile away, less than a quarter of a mile away. But then she moved away, and he really had no idea where she was. Now, over the years, students have encouraged him to look for her on social media. David's laughing because he has no idea what social media is. So we went back to our program, and he asked one of my younger staff, could you help me find her on this social media thing? And Sarah did find her. She got in touch with her, and David was able to write her a very long letter, which Sarah delivered to her. And it turns out that she lives very close to where our program is, and promised in 2017 that she would come and see her dad at the program. And here we are again, years later, still hasn't seen her. So when David made that choice that night to run his mouth, he lost everything. He lost money, he lost his things, he lost his friends, but most importantly, he lost the most important person in his life, his child. Now, when we started doing this presentation many years ago, we were thinking about making choices while you're driving, but the truth is, this choice could be made anywhere. You could be at a sporting event, you could be in a parking lot, you could be standing in front of your house, you could be at a party and a fight breaks out. And what we need you to understand is you need to be the person to shut up and walk away. Because if he had done that night, this wouldn't have happened. You be the one to make the right choice and walk away. Because this is not what we want for you. David, do you have something else you would like to tell them?
Just have a nice, safe, productive life.
Our second presenter today is Adam. I'm going to also help Adam with his story. But Adam, how old were you when you sustained your brain injury?
Believe 17.
You were 18, just a little bit shy of your 19th birthday.
I was gonna guess.
You were going to guess that age? Okay. Had you already graduated high school?
Yes.
And were you working?
I was doing construction for Southeastern Mechanical, and I was doing plumbing.
Okay. You were a plumber's apprentice?
Yes.
And were you making some good money?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you have the opportunity to buy some things with that money?
Yes, I had 2 cars.
Okay, at 18 years old, Adam had already purchased 2 vehicles. One of them was?
A 1970 Bug. It was really, really cool. I knew the man that restored them.
Okay, what color was it?
Smurf Blue.
It was Smurf Blue.
It was so sweet.
And what license plate was on it?
It said Smurfy.
Okay, and the other vehicle was what?
1984 Jeep, which was red. It said Halo 10 for 9 Inch Nails.
Okay, Adam is a big 9 Inch Nails fan. But it was a big deal for an 18-year-old to have already purchased 2 vehicles. So he was making good money, he was learning a trade, so he had a good future ahead of him. He had purchased the 2 vehicles. And did you have a lot of friends?
Yes.
And did you have a girlfriend?
Yes.
Okay, his girlfriend was a senior in high school, even though he had graduated. This was her senior year. And what was significant about this particular weekend?
That weekend was the weekend of her prom.
Okay, prom weekend for his girlfriend. Adam worked all week, went home on Friday evening, changed into his tuxedo, and then went to the prom. After the prom, Adam, his girlfriend, and a whole group of friends got in the car and drove down to Nag's Head to spend the evening for an after party. They lived in Suffolk, so Nag's Head was the closest beach to them. Now, in order for Adam to stay awake all night, he was drinking his 2 favorite things, which was?
Coffee and Mountain Dew
Those are
in the same cup.
Coffee and Mountain Dew in the same cup. Yes, Adam was definitely the creator of the energy drink. He was drinking the 2 caffeinated drinks all evening, and he stayed up all night. Next morning, what did you and your girlfriend do?
Well, I had to go back to return the tux.
So they got in the car, drove back to Suffolk, returned the tuxedo, and then what did you guys decide to do?
We've still got time still in the hotel, So let's go back down and finish it out.
So they get back in the car and drive back to Nag's Head. Spent the day at the beach with their friends. Now, I don't know about all of you, but the beach is very exhausting for me. The sun, the water, the sand, it can be really tiring. And it was for him too. But now they had to drive back to Suffolk. So Adam, again, was drinking his Mountain Dew and coffee and driving back. And just less than 2 miles from home, all that caffeine didn't make a difference because Adam fell asleep at the wheel. As he fell asleep, he obviously lost control of the vehicle, went off the road, flipped over several times. Now, Adam was very lucky because he had a seatbelt on, so it saved his life. But because he's so tall, he banged his head so many times while the car was turning that he sustained injury to multiple parts of his brain. Now, his girlfriend also had a seatbelt on, right? And what happened to her?
She got banged around and messed up.
And she had just bumps and bruises, right? Fortunately, the seatbelt saved her life, and she only sustained some minor bumps and bruises. But Adam was airlifted from the accident scene, and he was in a coma for several months. Then he rehabbed at Norfolk General for a while, and then ended up at a hospital, a rehab hospital in New Kent County. Cumberland Children's Hospital, where he stayed for a while until he rehabbed as much as he could, and then he was discharged to home. How did that work out? Why not?
Because I was an asshole.
Okay, imagine if tomorrow morning you woke up in your own bed, but instead of being able to just hop out of bed and do what you want, you have to lay there and wait for one of your parents. In most cases, it would probably be your mom, who would have to come in, get you out of bed, get you into the wheelchair, take you to the restroom, help you toilet, bathe you, dress you, put you back in the wheelchair, take you to the kitchen, cook your meal, and then maybe feed it to you. I would imagine that most of you would be really, really frustrated and angry. And that's how Adam was feeling. But it was so much anger that his mom would put a dish in front of him with the food on it.
I was an asshole.
Well, I don't know if you want to necessarily say you were an asshole, but you were angry.
I was
Threw the dish
a
at the mom.
turd.
No matter what she did, he would just refuse to take the help. So one day, Adam found out that his younger brother was driving his vehicles, which made Adam really, really angry. So much so that he actually stabbed his mom with a fork. Things got a little dangerous, so we had to remove Adam from the home. And unfortunately, the only place that we had to put him at that time was in a nursing home. So here he was, 21 years old, living in a nursing home in a locked unit for individuals with brain injury. He could come out during the day to come to our program, but then at night he went back there about 4 o'clock, locked in the unit over the weekend. He didn't have any opportunity to socialize. And fortunately for Adam, though, we were able to get him funding through Medicaid, where he was able to come out and live in the community with wraparound supports. Adam has a beautiful 2-bedroom apartment, which is really nice, right? Is it better than a nursing home?
Yes, it is.
But where is it? Where is
It's
the
an old
apartment?
people home.
Well, it's not an old people's home. It's a senior citizen.
It's an old people apartment.
Okay, it's a senior citizen apartment complex. And Adam, are you there alone in the apartment?
No.
There's always somebody with you,
Yes.
a nurse's aide or a life coach or somebody with you. And in the very beginning, it was really difficult because the staff would come in, the staff was eating his food, the staff was telling him what he could watch on TV. And then it was Adam get up, Adam go to bed, Adam do this, Adam do that. Constantly having somebody tell him what to do. So although it's better than the nursing home, it was a bit of an adjustment for him. Because it's a senior citizen apartment complex, all of his neighbors are older, and doesn't leave a lot of opportunity for him to socialize. And any of the activities that they might have going on in the activity room, not something a 41-year-old is interested in, because most of the people are probably 60 and over. Did your friends hang in there with you? Adam is lucky. He does have one friend from high school named Nate, who was a police.
Nathan Luke Ford.
Nate is a police officer for the city of Norfolk, and he will on occasion come and visit Adam. But Nate is working. He's got a wife and a family.
It is absolutely beautiful.
And he does bring his children occasionally, right?
And they're most beautiful.
So he is fortunate that he at least has that, but again, he doesn't get to see him as much as he would like. Adam, you don't work anymore, do you?
No,
No. And Adam lives on what Social Security sends him,
below.
which is about $770 a month. Now imagine that, $770. Unlike David, he has to pay his bills. He has to pay rent. And even though it's subsidized housing, he pays rent and utilities and food. At the end of the month, there's that much left, nothing, for him to do anything fun. Here he is, 41 years old, can't really do anything. He doesn't even sometimes have money to go buy a cup of coffee, which is his passion. Now, we have been able to get him some gift cards, and people have given him gift cards, especially to Starbucks. But it's very frustrating for him. So he can't work. He has no independence, lost his friends. How about your girlfriend? She hanging there with you?
No,
No. What happened to her?
college.
That was what was in the plan for her, was to go on to college. And she did. Adam was happy that she did that. But he lost his girlfriend. And all because of a choice that he made, which was to think and make the decision to drink a lot of caffeine, and that it was going to keep him awake. Nowadays, energy drinks are very easy to just go purchase and open up and drink it. You think it's going to keep you going. Adam likes to drink the energy drinks. He still does. Is it going to help them?
Not in the long run.
Okay, school starts early. Under regular circumstances, you would be in school all day, have after-school activities, maybe have jobs. And as teenagers, you think that I can keep going if I just drink this Red Bull or I just drink this AMP. Is it going to do that? Is it going to help them?
No, not in the long run.
Okay, so what do you want to say to them?
Please, please, get your sleep. And don't stay up. It was like, if you don't stay up as late and don't put yourself past what you can normally do, you won't have to worry about anything.
Because if you're fatigued, you're as impaired as if you were drunk while you're driving. And what we don't want you to do is end up hurting yourself, hurting other people. So get your rest. Okay, our final presenter is Larry. He's going to tell his story. So Larry, what did you used to do before your accident?
Before my accident, I used to build houses, and I used to run a backhoe and a trencher and a shovel and put the cable in the ground for the electric company.
Did you make good money?
Yes, I did.
Did you have an apartment?
Yes, I did.
A lot of friends?
Yes, I did.
Car?
Yes.
How about a girlfriend?
Girlfriends, plural.
I forgot you were a player, weren't you? Okay, and then what happened that changed your life completely?
One night, me and my ex-girlfriend out drinking and driving, and as we were driving along the road, an ambulance starts driving kind of swervy on the road, so they followed us. My ex-girlfriend went into a ditch, and I was in the back seat of the car. I got thrown from the back seat through the front windshield of the car.
Did you have a seatbelt on?
No.
Okay, no seatbelt. How about her?
Yes, she had a seatbelt.
And what happened to her?
She got a sprained foot.
Okay, so let's review. Seatbelt, sprained foot. Seatbelt saved Adam's life. Seatbelt, Adam's girlfriend had bumps and bruises. No seatbelt, went through the windshield. important to wear a seatbelt? Okay, that's lesson number one from Larry.
And back in the time when I was driving and stuff, you weren't thinking about what can happen to you. But I want you all to think about what can happen to you if you get in a car with your brother, sister, boyfriend, girlfriend, mother, father, or anybody. Think about what can happen. And always put that seatbelt on. You're running right around the block. Seatbelt.
Okay, second choice that Larry made that night was that he got in a car with someone who had been drinking. Again, that's a choice that's in all of your control. And I don't care whether the person who's picking you up are your parents, your older brother or sister. If someone's been drinking, you don't get in the car with them.
You know how they say no to drugs? Say no to that.
Okay, but Larry made those choices, got in the car, had the accident, and life has changed for him. He was 22 years old, and now you are how old?
59,
No, you're not 59.
58,
You're not 58.
57,
No, you're not 57.
yeah, I am.
No, you're not.
56.
Yes.
All right, I'm 56.
Okay, Larry's 56 years old. And Larry, where do you live at this point?
I live with my mom and dad.
Okay, does this sound familiar? Another 56-year-old man living at home with his mom and dad. Unlike David, though, Larry's family has made a plan for him. So if and when they cannot take care of him anymore, his siblings know it's not going to be me, Larry. It's not gonna
Joanne,
be-
my
no.
mom and dad don't lie to me. They say, you know, Joanne has been with you for years and years. She's going to be there for you years and years after my mom and dad go on because we got something going between me and Joe.
Okay, I might be there to help out, but he can't live with me.
What the heck?
So who will you be living with, seriously?
I have 2 brothers and 1 sister.
Okay, and so they've set up a plan where they will rotate so that he will live with each of them on a rotating basis. So they at least have a plan in place. It's not what normally we do, but at least they have something there. Now, when you meet Larry and you see the other 2 guys, I know it's easy to tell that both Adam and David have some limitations as a result of their brain injury. And I bet you can't see or can't even imagine why Larry would need to have 24-hour care, the same as the other 2. So we're going to talk a little bit about the limitations that Larry has, which causes him to have somebody with him all the time. First, let's talk about your vision.
All right, I have tunnel vision. Okay, what is tunnel vision? You asked me. Everybody put their hands on the side of the eyes like this. All right, can you see to the sides now? No, that's what tunnel vision is. You can only see straight ahead, nothing to the sides.
So he has no peripheral vision. Let's think about some things he can't do because he has no peripheral vision. Well, one of the things that we use our peripheral vision for is as we're walking, we can see, are we getting too close to a curb? Is there a curb cut? Is there something hanging on the wall? Larry can't see any of that. And I had no idea what this meant until one of the first times I was out with him, and we were doing this presentation at First Colonial High School. Larry's a smoker, and during a break, he asked if I could take him out for a cigarette, which I did. And on the way back, I was really, really being smart.
Yeah, she was
I
a
got on
smart.
the left side of Larry because I wanted to make sure that he was not going to step off the curb.
Yep.
But what I didn't consider was that the awning in front of First Colonial High School was being held up by steel poles. And Larry was a little too close to those poles. And as we were walking, he walked smack into one of them.
Boom!
When we got back into the classroom, Larry had a big old goose egg.
And the stories I told when I got back in there, I said, Joanne just beat the hell out of me. She got her moment and beat the hell out of me.
Did you really say that?
No, but it sounds good now.
That's when I realized that I really needed to pay attention to both sides of him because he didn't have peripheral vision on either side. Other things he can't do independently. Can't cross the street because when we cross the street and we look this way for traffic, we can still see if something's coming there. He can't do that. So it really limits his independence. The second thing that Larry has a problem with is his walking. Would you like to just walk from there to here to me?
Yes, okay. When I'm walking, what I have to do is say heel toe. heel toe. I wear a okay, let me show you this. I wear a brace on my, can you do my brace? I wear a brace on my left leg because when I used to walk, I used to walk and drag.
Okay, Larry's
Oh.
brain is not sending the right signal to his foot. So the way our feet are, that we lay flat on the ground, Larry's foot drops. So the brace pushes his foot in place. Even with that, the brain is still not sending the right signal. So what happens is Larry will automatically start to walk with his toes out, where the normal way that all the rest of us walk is that we do the heel first. So since he's 22 years old, 20 to 34 years, he has to tell himself every time he walks,
Heel toe. And my best friend over there, David, yeah, that's my best damn friend in the world. I'm walking, saying heel toe, and in the background you always hear David saying toe heel, and then I say, where the heck's he at? And I hear David laughing his butt off. Ha 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 ha.
okay, also learned my lesson the hard way with Larry. We were this time at Ocean Lakes High School. And Ocean Lakes High School was a very spread out school. And we had walked off campus so that he could go have a cigarette. But then we had to walk back, what I felt like was 3 miles to go back to the school. He was behind me. I was rushing him.
Yep, y'all right.
Not giving him the opportunity to slow down and say heel toe.
She was rushing me big time.
So he was keeping up with me, put his toe out first and fell, pushed into me,
Yep.
sent me flying onto the hood of a car.
Yep.
And Larry fell on top of me.
Oh, hell yeah. They saw that on the camera and said, what the hell?
I'm not sure they saw us on the camera.
They sure the hell did. They had to look at it 2 or 3 times to make sure they saw it the first time.
And I realized how lucky I was that car was there, because
Both
had
of
that
us.
car not been there, I would have fallen to the ground, he would have fallen on top of me, and both of us would have been seriously injured. At that moment, I realized this was not about me, it was not about the class, it was all about Larry.
The way I
So
walk.
now we walk like this,
And we look damn good.
so that I can maneuver him around things, and also it forces me to walk slowly with him.
Walk at my pace.
Okay.
Because she is a fast walker.
So now we talked about your vision.
Right.
We talked about your walking.
Right.
What is another area that you have some trouble with?
My memory.
Okay. How short is your memory?
What's your name again?
Okay. He's serious in some ways, because
That
you
was-
could come into the building, you could introduce yourself, you could walk over to another part of the building, 10 minutes later come back. He's going to say, "Hi, I'm Larry. What's your name again?"
And it's not because I'm doing that. It's up here in my brain saying, hey, you're going to forget that.
So the problem with that is you cannot give him directions, because he's not going to remember them. If he wanders away from somebody, he can't remember where he was to begin with,
Or how to get back.
how to get back. So he's short-term memory, which is a major problem for individuals with brain injury, is a real problem for Larry.
Yeah.
The fourth thing that's a problem for you is what?
What?
Your lack of impulse control.
Oh, yeah.
If you remember earlier, we talked about your frontal lobe and the frontal lobe of the brain controlling your impulses. And when it's significantly damaged, you don't have the ability to control the impulses. So whatever comes into Larry's head can come out of his mouth. Whatever Larry wants to do, he does, without thinking of what the consequences.
Okay, it's like saying, I saw a person in an ugly dang outfit. It
Okay.
was ugly. It was so dang ugly, it made your eyes water.
Now that you or I, if we were in public and saw a complete stranger wearing what we thought was the ugliest outfit ever, we wouldn't say anything. But Larry actually went up to a woman in the mall.
I walked up to her, I walked up to her and said, excuse me, did you look in the mirror before you put that on? That's ugly as hell.
Now we, as a staff, are supposed to correct him as quietly as we could, and so we were telling him to apologize and let's go. He just got louder and louder and louder.
If the blind man sees it, you know it's ugly as hell. If the blind man sees
Screaming this in the middle of the mall.
it. Everybody looking at me and they're looking at her and saying, yeah, that's ugly, Larry. That's right. You're exactly right. That's one damn ugly outfit.
How about the time we were in the restaurant? So we were in a restaurant, the whole group of us, And we were about 25 people in our own little area, and Larry had to go to the restroom. Well, again, his memory is such that I couldn't say to him, go down the hall, make a right, restroom's there. What I said instead was, come on, Larry, let's go. So I was walking, and he was behind me, and we were walking between two sets of tables. And he's talking to everyone, Mayor Larry. Hey, how
Yeah.
you doing?
Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? You having a good day? Yeah, how you doing?
And it was okay because I could hear the people answering him and responding appropriately. But then I realized that he stopped talking,
Oh, yeah.
and I knew that wasn't a good sign.
Nope.
And as I turned, I noticed that he was standing in front of a table, and the woman at the table was a little overweight.
Little hell, she was big time overweight.
Before I had a chance to do anything, he leaned over and said to her, ma'am, do you think you really needed to order that dessert?
I was going to ask her what the hell she had for lunch. How much? Yes, it is. How many napkins did you need to wipe your mouth for?
Was it really funny to do that?
No, but I wasn't thinking about it. It was just, you know, it's not something, it's just one of those things where it wasn't like I was thinking about doing it. It's one of those things that happened, you know. It wasn't like I was thinking, it's just something that popped up and happened.
So again, I had to apologize, try to get him out of there. But had he been there by himself, she may have had him thrown out of the restaurant. She may have hit him with something that was on the table. But
She wouldn't have wasted her food.
see, his judgment is not so good. Do you still have problems with impulsive behaviors?
Yes, yeah.
What are some of the things that you do?
Like, if I see a person with an ugly outfit on.
No, you said that already.
Oh, what?
Again, short-term memory issue. How about taking things that don't belong to you? Do you do that?
Oh, I have.
Like what?
Maybe money or cigarettes.
Larry has a habit, if somebody puts their cigarettes down, even though he's got his own pack in his pocket, he will go over, take the cigarettes, smoke them, even though we've caught him and he denies that they're his. Denies that he stole them. He says that they're his.
How?
I know you've stolen them because your cigarettes have a white filter, and if you're smoking something with a brown filter.
Oh, yeah.
And money. Who do you especially like to take money from? Yeah. Larry has taken money out of my car.
This my baby doll. She's my money, honey.
Likes to go through my purse. We were at
Not go through your purse.
Well,
Look.
You remember at Renaissance Academy, I left him in the auditorium for a short period of time while I went to go get David and Adam. And I came back, and the resource officer had him in the hallway and explained to me that he had seen him going through a woman's purse that was on the stage and knew that it wasn't his, obviously. Wanted me to press charges, but I didn't.
And I'm glad she didn't. I'm glad she didn't because I would have spent the day in jail and my mom and dad would have really raised hell about me doing that. And then when I got back into the Beacon House, everybody else would be saying, damn, Larry, why the hell did you steal from Joanne? What the hell were you thinking?
But you steal from other people as well, not just me.
Yeah, but you're the easiest. Ah, that was good.
And again, you see where his judgment is off, and he just doesn't understand that what he's doing is.
I don't think about it. It's just something that pops into my head. You know, like when you're eating or brushing your teeth or taking a shower or talking, or like when I'm walking, especially when I'm walking, I have to say heel toe. Did I already tell him that?
You did. You told him the heel toe.
And my best damn friend right over there, David. Yeah.
You told him that too.
I already told him? Oh.
Okay. What do you want to tell them as a final?
Don't get in the car with anybody that's been drinking. Boyfriend, girlfriend, mother, father, aunt, uncle, brother, sister, cousin, anything like that. Because the answer to that is all no. You got too much of a healthy, full life to live, and I want you to live it to the fullest and go for the gusto. I don't want you 10 or 20 years from now saying, hey, what day is today? What's your name again? What the? No. You got a healthy, full life, live it to the fullest, and go for the gusto, baby. Go to the sun and the moon and the stars in the sky, because that's where you belong.
Okay, so now that you've had the opportunity to hear David, Adam, and Larry's stories, we hope that you can apply some of what you've heard to your own lives and make better choices if you're ever faced with similar situations. I am also hoping that in the very near future we will have the opportunity to have some live interaction with the three gentlemen via Zoom or another platform where you can ask them questions and then hopefully they can give you some answers. Thank you for your time. We appreciate you listening to us, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Thank you.